Hello and welcome to the incredibly influential and highly successful podcast. I'm incredibly influential.
And I am highly successful.
It is Thursday, June 9th, 2022, as we're recording this. And I want to dedicate this to my mom and my stepmom and my dad because they all have COVID. And I am also probably going to get it. So, yeah, just keep them in your thoughts, I guess. By the time this goes up, they'll probably be feeling better, but just in case. So, yeah, that's who I wanted to dedicate this episode to. Do you have anyone you want to dedicate, co-host?
No, I think that, this COVID thing, it's kind of unbelievable that it's still around, to be honest. I kind of forget about it sometimes, and then I walk outside.
Yeah, it was. I didn't think. I thought I was gonna be home free, to be honest, but we got it. We got it. It's kicking my mom's ass right now.
I
Um,
don't know if this was like just a coincidence. I think this was around the time there was like a new strain, but like I remember around December of last year, I mean, like everybody got it. Like so many people
mm-hmm.
got it. I think that new strain just like made it so much easier to get. And I don't
Yeah,
know if it's cooled down at all since then, or if it's kind of just stabilized. But I haven't really heard anything about it. So
yeah. Um, I think it is actually increasing, from what I've heard. So I'm not surprised that I've gotten it. I didn't get it for 2 years. There was no way that I was gonna avoid it forever, to be honest.
yeah, like I got it when everybody was getting it. Like right around December when apparently it just blew up to like a monumental level.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Um,
hopefully soon enough we'll be rid of the problems. Maybe we can go back to a little bit more of a stable life that we used to have. But
yeah, hopefully. I would like some antibodies. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Um. Oh yeah. First order of business. There's this story out of Russia, right?
mhm.
That I wanted to talk about. There's this guy. He's called Yuri. What's his last name? What's his last name? Yuri Rection. I got you again, you son of a bitch. I got
See
you
that?
again.
Well, that's it's. I feel like it's different this time though, because there was no setup. You just said it.
Yeah, but
You
you
know.
totally believe me. You totally believe me. That's the funny part. Is you
I
totally
just let
believe
you
me
talk
again.
sometimes. You
You
know.
fell for it again, and now you don't want to admit it because you know I'm right. You know it.
I
I know it. Let's all admit it. I'm right.
maybe our fans can say, but I feel like that one doesn't count. I feel like you're still at one. But
I don't know. I feel like you fell for it.
I don't know. I feel like again, but we'll let the fans decide. But I think
Yeah.
you're at one. You think you're at two. It's fine. It's okay.
We'll call it 1.5. All right. Uh, my real first order of business is, while it's still fresh in your head, is the Black Adam trailer was just released either yesterday or today. Um, yeah. I made my co-host watch it just before we started recording. What are your thoughts on it?
I am not as familiar with the DC lineup of characters,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know pretty much anything from the trailer besides it's a guy who is kind of like an anti-hero, not really a villain, not really a hero. He's kind of somewhere in that
Yeah.
gray area in between. It looks like it'll be a cool movie. I do have to say, like, out of all the DC movies that I've watched, like recently, which are not a lot, um, I definitely probably should watch more. I think I really like Shazam though. Shazam was probably my favorite one, just because Shazam kind of had that humor to his character that not a lot of DC characters have.
Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna be the same director. I know it's like a continuation of Shazam. Shazam is getting a sequel as well, so that's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
Um,
because you know, I don't know about you, right? and who your favorite like DC characters are, but mine is all my characters that I've always liked were like the ones that were witty and funny, kind of like some of the characters in like
Yeah,
the Marvel universe, kind of like how Spider-Man, is like no, that's kind of what he's known for, right?
yeah,
Is being witty and funny. I like characters like that, and Shazam was always like the one person I knew from DC. Besides Shazam,
yeah.
I don't really know a lot. So,
I think you
I
would like Flash if Ezra Miller weren't being such a fucking douche right now. Like, Jesus Christ, what a scumbag. Like
yeah, I feel like Flash's
they just
character
keep
kind of.
committing crimes.
I
Yeah,
do feel like Flash's character kind of does have that kind of witty nature to him.
yeah.
I
Go
don't know. There's
watch
just so
the
much.
Justice League cartoon if you want a good Flash.
A
Watch the Justice League
cartoon,
cartoon. It's very good. Yep. It's
maybe,
really good. It is
maybe.
very, very, very solid. Justice League and then Justice League Unlimited. Very good. Cannot recommend it highly enough. But while
All
we're on the
right.
subject of Black Adam, are you kind of feeling a little bit of uh Dwayne the Rock Johnson fatigue? Are you feeling a little bit of Dwayne fatigue?
Well, I don't know. I feel like he's been in several things in like the last recent years. I feel like he's definitely up there in terms of a very, very prominent actor. I've seen a lot, but I don't think I'm tired of it. Like it's not like too much. There was a point in time where I feel like Ryan Reynolds was in everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel
I'm
like
yeah.
it's kind of gone a little bit less and less over time. But the thing about Ryan Reynolds is I just like Ryan Reynolds a lot. So I didn't
I
mind it.
yeah, I like Ryan Reynolds a lot too. I am getting a little bit of Rock fatigue. Um,
He
yeah,
hasn't
I
been in
feel
that
like
many things though,
Dwayne's.
has he?
Well, think about it, right? Like even in things that I'm not watching, it's just he's in a lot of shit right now, right? So there was, just in terms of DC, right? He's in the Black Adam thing, but he's also gonna be co-starring with Kevin Hart in that Super Pets movie, right? He's gonna be playing Crypto the Superdog. So it's like, you
Oh, you
know,
know what? I completely forgot about that until you just mentioned it. I did see a trailer for that, and I completely forgot about that. Like almost right after I saw the trailer in theaters. I think
yeah.
it was for the Doctor Strange movie, actually.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. I'm not super enthused about it. It kind of just looks like Secret Life of Pets, but
I did
you know,
watch
superheroes.
the crypto show, a long, long time ago, and I
Yeah,
thought it was all right. And that's kind of my
yeah.
only knowledge of
Crypto the
his
Superdog.
dog. Uh,
Yeah,
I'm curious about it.
yeah.
I'd watch
Crypto.
it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm
but
gonna watch it in
yeah,
theaters, but you know,
yeah. Dwayne. I'm getting a little bit of Dwayne fatigue. I'm gonna be honest, because even in things I'm not watching, Crypto, the League of Super Pets movie, and then he's gonna be in Black Adam, and then he's got that young Rock show, right? Where it's all about Rock growing up, and it's like, dude, like you're the Rock, we get it, we know, we love you. Just chill out a little bit. Just chill a little bit, bro. Just chill. You're you're doing a little too much, my man. Take a break. It's
I I
okay.
still think it's interesting how he's still known by The Rock, even though I don't think he ever uses the nickname, does he?
I mean, the show is called Young Rock,
Well,
so
I know, but usually he just uses his regular name for things. But I
no,
guess
no. I think
the
he's
nickname really
always
stuck, you
credited.
know?
I think he's always credited as Dwayne the Rock Johnson
Is
because he
he?
is Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
We need to come up with really cool nicknames that stick like that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I got an idea. Right. I'll be
Okay.
incredibly influential, and you be highly
Okay.
successful.
I had a feeling you were gonna do that, right? You
See,
know,
you could
and
see
for
the
the
jokes
context
coming,
of this
and yet you
podcast,
still
that's
fall for it.
great, right? But I feel like it doesn't roll off the tongue quite as much, you know?
I don't know. I can say incredibly influential pretty fast. It rolls off the tongue real well for me. It's that alliteration. Maybe yours doesn't work so well because you don't have alliteration, but that's because I'm fucking awesome. So I would say get
Well,
wrecked.
you pitched the names to me. I feel like definitely you know, maybe you foresaw this joke coming from weeks and weeks ago before we started this podcast, but
From
you know,
months in the future, yeah. Yeah.
yes, he planted this name thing that way this particular conversation could come up this week, just so he can make that
Yeah.
one joke, and it was a big payoff, wasn't it? It is.
Yeah. Um yeah, I would say it was a real big payoff. I'm very proud of that joke. It's a very good joke. I am very funny. As it
All
turns
right.
out,
Well, I'm
I'm
tired of the joke now.
fucking
What's the next topic?
hilarious. Um oh, while we're on the DC train, Joker is getting a sequel. I fucking hate everything in the world. Why the fuck are we doing this? There shouldn't have even been one Joker movie. It was
I
terrible. Why
have
are we
to
getting a second?
say, I didn't mind the Joker movie. I thought
I
it was
hate
all
it.
right.
There
I
is a there's
But
an
why do you hate it?
immortal. There's an immortal letterboxed review. Are you familiar
But
with letterboxed?
why do you hate it? No, I'm not. But why? But why do you hate it exactly? Does it have to do something with like the lore or like because I don't know anything about the lore. I just know
There's a
the
lot
character to
of
be honest.
reasons, but I feel like the way that to sum it up best is to quote the immortal letterboxed review. I
Of
forget who it's
course.
by, and I'm really sad that I don't know, and I don't really want to look it up, but it's a really good letterboxed review. So if it is yours, I'm sorry. Add us on Twitter, and we'll give you credit in the next one, in the next episode. But
I'm sure they can look it up, but yeah, for sure.
uh uh shit, I can't even remember
All right.
the
Well, he
quote of
doesn't
it.
like the Joker. I thought it
It's
was all right.
all right, all right. When you've never swam in the ocean, a pool will seem deep, which is I feel like that sums up my feelings on the Joker movie because it is so fucking shallow and like nothing about it is very intelligent or deep or interesting, but the director and the actors in it seem to be convinced that it is. Joaquin Phoenix can't take the stick out of his ass because, oh, I'm in this Joker movie and it's making all these deep uh, uh, points about society. Like, I hated his Oscar speech so much. He's so fucking pretentious. And then Todd Phillips, literally, he used the Joker character to go on like a 15-minute rant at the end of the movie about it's, comedians and the canceling and comedy is subjective and all that. He's literally bitching because he's like, you couldn't make a Hangover 4 in 2022 because the liberals, because the liberals that they'll cancel you. But no, they don't want a
Uh,
Hangover 4 because you're not fucking funny, Todd. You're not funny, and you're not a good
well,
director.
there's definitely a point about, how society has kind of gotten a lot more sensitive to a lot of things that I feel like don't really matter that much or that shouldn't be or that aren't directly offensive. You know what I mean, right?
But at the same time, it it's not the, oh, we're offended. It's like the whole, oh, I identify as a tech helicopter, as if we haven't heard that joke a million fucking times since 2016. It's
It's a good
not that
joke
it's
though.
offensive.
It's a great
It's
joke.
it's not it was barely funny the first time, and it's been
Yeah,
6
and it only gets
years.
funnier every time.
They need to, if you want to tell offensive jokes, be like Bill Burr. Bill Burr is original about it. He's fucking funny. Be like Jim Jeffries. He's original about it and he's fucking funny. Don't retell the same fucking jokes and be like, oh, cancel culture, liberals, transphobia. Wah. It's annoying. It's annoying. And Todd Phillips is fucking annoying. He is pretentious as all fuck, and it pisses me off.
I
Stick
agree.
to
Todd
making
Howard needs
shitty.
to chill.
Todd Todd Phillips. I said Todd Phillips. I did not say Todd Howard. I
Are you
will not have
sure?
anyone besmirching the good name of Todd Howard. Todd Howard is Todd Howard more like God Howard.
Todd Howard, more like God Howard. You've heard it here first.
Todd the God, the Rod, the Mod
The
Howard.
Rod. The Mod. Okay, wow.
You know why they
Got a
call
lot
him
of
the
names.
Mod. You know why they call him the Rod. You know why. We all know.
We all
Todd
know.
Todd, Todd Howard fucking Todd Howard fucks. Todd Howard fucks. Let's be real here. Like, look at that man. Look at that little gremlin. You think he doesn't fuck? He fucks. Todd Howard fucks.
Man, I feel like we should shift topics. I feel like we've really got all we can out of this Todd Howard situation.
Oh, there's some shit on YouTube that I really wanted to talk about. Um,
Really. What's on YouTube? I'm on YouTube frequently, but I don't think I know what you're talking about.
so are you familiar with the Act Man? He's a YouTuber. Are you familiar with him?
No, not
Oh,
familiar.
all right. So let me kind of explain the situation as best as I understand it, because I'm a little bit I'm pretty familiar to him. I'm subscribed to him. I was subscribed to him before this drama like started, but I admit that I kind of fell behind and I didn't really keep up with the drama. But the gist of it is he he pissed off another channel um called Quantum TV, and I'm not worried that he's going to I'm not worried that he's going to copyright strike this podcast, because we literally do not use any copyrightable material. But yeah, Quantum TV has been like copyright abusing a bunch of people, and then Actman called him out on it, and then Quantum TV started copyright striking him, and the Actman he was about to get he's about to get completely demonetized on his entire YouTube channel, so he's about to quit. And it's like
Okay, so what type of content does he make exactly?
one of his like his main series is, why was insert video game so bad or so good or a masterpiece or so
Okay.
mediocre. He did that with all the Halo games. He did it with a lot of the COD games. Um, yeah, that was like what I kind of joined in for.
Hmm.
Because he makes really good video essay style content. It's really well put together. He makes very good points.
Okay.
Yeah, he's I don't quite agree with him on his little Star Wars takes, to be honest, but you know, he absolutely makes very good videos. Um, and yeah, yeah, uh, it's a really a fucking shame what's going on here, but
Okay, and he's getting like canceled, or he's getting copyright striked because he used, I'm assuming, somebody else's content on his channel, right?
like barely, um, like barely, and yeah, it, it was for Elden Ring hot takes. He was like the worst Elden Ring hot takes, I believe is the video. And
Okay.
Quantum TV uh, uh, violated fair use. He has no right to do this, but the YouTube copyright system is fucked. And so when Actman started calling out YouTube for letting him do this, YouTube started finding bullshit excuses, right? So I watched the Philip DeFranco show on this.
Hmm.
He interviewed Actman, but the main thing that YouTube is trying to criticize him for is Actman made a series of satirical tweets, which he has now deleted, saying, "Oh, I'm going to go on my platform and promote hate speech." That wasn't the one that got him banned, but like that's an example, right? The one that got him banned was, "I'm going or I think what he said was, feeling cute, gonna go dox and harass a bunch of people on YouTube today," which is satire because he had been doxxed before, and nobody had done anything about it. So it was satire, right? And they it's bogus. YouTube is being
I
absolutely fucking bogus right now.
I do have to say, like, I've seen that happen a lot in like the last couple years, where somebody will say something in a way that is like a joke or a satire, and you know, people just nowadays they just don't understand satire for some reason.
It's not that they
I
don't
don't get
understand
it.
it. It's that they will use anything, anything at all to uh, uh, cancel people and demonetize people who are speaking out against YouTube. YouTube is fully okay with this. Like
Now,
there are
I
people at
haven't
YouTube who are
heard a
like,
lot about like this against YouTube stuff before, right? Uh, like, is there other examples of this happening with YouTube? Because I've never heard anything about like this, where YouTube is
uh,
like canceling people just because they're getting talked bad against them.
I think I don't remember who it was who was initially in trouble for it, but Markiplier made a tweet about it. Um, Markiplier stepped in. I think it might have been Critical. It might have been Moist Critical. Who had gotten in trouble with YouTube, and Markiplier made a tweet about it, and 15 minutes later, YouTube fixed the issue. YouTube fixed the issue in 15 minutes because when a big partner for YouTube speaks out about it, they they have to listen because let's face it here, Markiplier could quit making YouTube videos and be fine for the rest of his life. Markiplier is fucking rich. He's got a lot of subs, he's got a lot of
Did
brand
you
deals.
uh did you watch his interview that he did with Anthony?
Anthony Padilla, no. I
He
think
did
I
one
watched a snippet of
recently.
it. I watched a snippet of it where he was talking about, yeah, I'm fucking rich. Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
He's
that's
fucking rich. I follow Anthony on Instagram, so I think that's where I saw it. But yeah, he's
hmm
fucking rich. He could quit whenever he wants to. So if YouTube, so if those big content creators, those big audience, those people who bait in a big audience, if they say I'm gonna quit, YouTube has to listen. So I want, so like I all these big YouTube channels are really they're really going in for it. Philip DeFranco, as I was talking about, had Actman on his YouTube
hmm
on the Philip DeFranco show. Um, Critical again is talking about it, which is good. Um, because Critical, I think, had this happen before. I would love it if Markiplier spoke out again, but I'm
Like
not sure.
the like I don't know who this person is, Actman.
Yes,
And he is getting in trouble because he used copyrighted material under free use, right? So
yeah, yeah.
it shouldn't have been copyrightable, right?
No, first of all, that's not even what they're striking him for now. Now
Oh, what are
he's
they
being
checking it
stricken.
for?
So the bogus strikes are like the really bogus ones. All the strikes were bogus, but the really bogus ones were that one of them was for nudity and like sexual material, and that doesn't make any fucking sense, right? Like there is absolutely no there's no nudity in his fucking videos, and
That
uh,
okay.
they spoke out and they said there was excessive sexualization in one of them. What the fuck? What? What?
I think that
That's
yeah,
ridiculous.
YouTube definitely does have a problem with their automatic moderation. I know that
Oh
there's
no,
not
this
enough
wasn't
people.
automatic. This wasn't
So
automatic. This was
this was a
deliberate.
manual thing.
Yeah, these were all deliberate.
Okay, so
YouTube is
that does make
deliberately
it
trying to
different.
silence him. Yeah, YouTube is trying to silence him.
I don't, that doesn't sound right, but I don't know. I suppose if that's
YouTube
happening, that is
absolutely
crazy
does that.
though.
YouTube is absolutely willing to do that. Susan Wojcicki and Google are shit companies. They are fucking awful to like they are
I don't
absolutely
think
scummy.
it's again, I don't think it's like I
It
don't
may
know if
not
it's
go up all the
I
way.
don't think it's all the way up to there, right? I think if it is a problem with somebody targeting creators or somebody targeting this particular creator,
Yeah,
it,
it might
it's
be middle
probably something that's
management or
happening
something like
a
that,
little
but
bit
like
lower on the totem pole, right?
yeah,
I
it might be
doubt,
middle management, but at the same
yeah,
time,
I don't
uh,
think it goes up that high. I don't think it's Susan's fault.
it might not be. But Susan and Google are uh more than happy to turn a blind eye to issues that are affecting YouTube and Google. That they have no problems with that. They don't care about making a good platform. They care about making money. And if they can skimp out
Yeah,
on quality,
I
they will.
I think that again, I think that the problem just needs to be shouted out enough by enough people, and eventually somebody a little higher up at YouTube will fix it, right? If it is something that is completely wrong, like you're saying, I'm only going off of what you're telling me, but it is crazy that things like this happen, and I do know that certain creators do get just strike down for almost no reason at all. It feels like it's crazy. It really is. Like, I don't know a lot of YouTubers that have been canceled or have had problems like this, right? But I do know it happens every now and then where
The issue with
it's
YouTube is that they need to have a third party, a YouTuber, like at YouTube, someone at YouTube who would review these uh first of all these copyright claims, because the way it works right now is you dispute it and you send it right back to the people who fraudulently claimed it before,
yeah,
and they
I
have
have
no.
heard that before,
Yeah,
right? Like where you send in a request and then they just ask the people again, is this your video? And if they're already lying the first time, of course they're gonna lie the second time. I don't see how that solves anything, right?
yeah, it's
So that
absolutely.
does
Yeah,
I do have to say their system of doing it does seem very flawed. And they
there,
do need to get some manual moderation in there. That way, less problems like this happen.
but
But
that's
it's
what I'm saying.
also, I'm sure it's really hard, like for YouTube as well, because there's a lot of videos, there's lots of hours of content, and I'm sure this happens so many times. But I- uh, I'm sure that they usually get around to it sooner or later. It's just usually a little too late, is the problem.
But the problem with it with YouTube is they don't really care. Again, it's like I said, they
Yeah,
don't actually care about providing a good service or a good platform. They care about making money. They will accept YouTube ads from companies that are like violating the law. You know, like those child gambling games like Raid Shadow Legends. Like they'll absolutely accept money from them.
I think that all mobile games, or a majority of mobile games nowadays are all pretty much just gambling games.
Yeah,
Uh,
they'll accept money from like child gambling games or
I
games that
actually
are
heard
like
that that
false
was like a
advertising.
I actually did hear that was a controversial thing on Twitch. Was a lot of really popular streamers taking like gambling sponsorships,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's not the sponsorship that's bad. It's just you. I feel like you gotta have the warnings in there, right?
No, gambling is
That's
fucking predatory. Gambling is predatory, and fucking
exactly.
all of
So
those
if
things
you
are.
are sponsored by gambling people, I feel like you just say gambling is predatory and then accept the sponsorship. That
But
I feel like that you did your due diligence, right?
I think there's no
That's what I think.
ethical
I don't know.
way. I think there's no ethical way for YouTube to take money from those uh those false advertising games, those child gambling games. I think there's no ethical way for them to do that while, not actually using the money to improve their platform, because they're putting more ads on their fucking service. They're putting they did the increase to 2 ads for
Well,
everyone. How
I
many
do
years ago
remember
was
like
it?
I do remember the double ads. Now I don't get ads. Um, so I don't know how bad it is now,
It's
but
bad. It's really bad. I watch it on my phone. It's fucking terrible. You will get a 15, 30, sometimes minute long ad for like 1 second of content.
I
It's
do
terrible.
remember that. Um, the double ads, double unskippable ads, things like that.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
terrible. They're making a worse platform for everyone, but they aren't using the money to improve it in any other areas. They're just finding more and more ways to put ads on the page. They they put the you know what's a great fucking fix to that? Maybe just put ads underneath the video. Oh wait, you do that, right? They put the static ads in the like right before you scroll down to like the recommended videos. They put the ads right there. Is that not enough
is there
fucking money for you,
ads?
YouTube? Or
Is
you
there
have a
ads on there?
yeah,
Well,
like
I
some
wouldn't know. I don't get ads.
yeah, but like they put ads there, and is
Is that
that
on the
not enough
phone
for
or is that
you,
on the
YouTube?
computer?
Both, both. It's not
Oh, okay.
underneath the video on computer. It's like off to the side. Um, but like, yeah,
Okay.
is that not enough money for you, YouTube? Are you not satisfied being the only video service platform that's as big as you are? Really, really
I think that
bigger than
there's
Vimeo,
definitely a lot of
bigger
problems
than
with YouTube.
Pornhub, bigger
I
than
feel like
Twitch. Fucking, are
again,
you not
I don't think
satisfied?
it's like I don't think it's like everything YouTube does is bad. I don't think that they're intentionally doing a lot of bad things. I know that some things it is intentional and then it does turn out to be bad, right? But I think that kind of like what you were saying with the gambling thing and all that, right? I think that definitely if there is a false advertisement type of thing that they do endorse, that is definitely a bad thing, right? Or if it's like a predatory thing, that's also a bad thing. Now, I don't think that, like gambling and stuff is bad to like have as like a sponsorship unless it is extremely predatory and misleading. I feel like there is a way to do it that is like not as shady as a lot of them do it now. I don't think it's the gambling itself. I think it's just how the gambling manipulates the people. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I guess, but I just it's not the gambling that I take issue with. It's
I
the
know, but
fact that
that's kind of
they're
where this all started, right? And that's kind of where I
no,
was.
it all started because we
It
were
started a
talking
long
about
time ago.
Act Man. We're talking about Act
But
Man.
yeah, so YouTube's a flawed platform. I agree. I think it has a lot of things that it should improve on and just stop doing in general. But I think that YouTube is a platform that does try to appeal to a lot of different people. And I feel like it's really hard to make everybody happy and also be profitable, right? So,
They're not trying to make anyone happy but the corporations, dude. You gotta
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say, right? You
they
gotta
only
try to work on both sides. You gotta try to make corporations happy, but that also sometimes makes the creators and the viewers a little unhappy.
the
And
but they
you
only
can't
care
win on
about the
both sides,
corpos.
right?
They only care about the corpos. I think there needs to be a competitor to YouTube. I think there absolutely
I
needs to be a competitor to
well,
YouTube.
I definitely agree. Competition usually does make things better. I know that like with the console wars and all that, right? Like the console wars ever since they've been going on, they both sides have been competing to make the product better and cheaper and more accessible. And all of the people that buy these consoles, regardless of what your side you're on, you win because of the competition, right?
Except if
Uh,
you buy a fucking Nintendo Switch. Except if you buy a Nintendo Switch.
There
Because
isn't any
Nintendo
competition
hates
to the
you.
Nintendo. There's no competition to the portable devices yet. Hopefully, we get some more competition with the Steam Deck and all that. Hopefully, if those become more commercially viable, we can get some more competition in the portable market. But Yeah, but like the Xbox and PlayStation thing, like you
That
and
would be,
me,
yeah,
we're constantly like benefiting from the competition because Xbox is trying to outdo PlayStation, PlayStation is trying to outdo Xbox with prices, with deals, with exclusives, and
yeah,
everybody wins, with the competition. And I feel like that sort of competition and that sort of like thing is kind of what capitalism should all be about. I know capitalism usually is a little bit more corrupt than it probably should be, but yeah, we have competition with everything, and I feel like usually it gets better, right? So definitely get some competition for the YouTube. I think it's gonna be great.
yeah. I think there is one really really great golden example of the of like you said in the console wars about like them about consoles trying to outdo each other and giving something that's really good for the consumer, and that's
Hmm.
Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass is such a good fucking deal. Oh my god, it is a great deal because you pay, what is it, $1 a month? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's $1 a month, and you
Well, it's
pay.
$1 for I think for either the first month or the first 3 months, um,
That's
and then
a
and then it's
fucking
10,
fantastic deal.
and then it's 10 for just the Game Pass, and then I think it's 15 for the Game Pass and Gold combination. There's actually a way to do it where I got 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate for $5 a month, about 570 a month,
That's, yeah.
and that's an
Game
awesome deal.
Pass Game
That's an
Pass
awesome deal.
Ultimate has like 300, 400 games for that
Yeah, it's
cheap.
in the hundreds, and there is a lot of games on there that are like a little bit smaller indie titles, right? Then there's a lot of like really big AAA games. Every single Xbox ID game goes on their launch day.
Yep.
Halo Infinite
Yep.
was on their launch day. Back for Blood, even though that was like an alright game. But the point is, new games are constantly just getting on there day one, which
Yeah,
I
the
think there's
and
so
then
many good things
once
about it.
once Xbox bought Bethesda, all those games went on there. Every single one of them.
Hmm.
Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, even though that one sucks. Skyrim, Morrowind, Oblivion, all of them on there. ESO, I think, is on there. Yeah, there's so many good fucking, that is such a
Yeah,
good fucking deal.
but that's a
And
super good example again of the competition, like creating something that is going to be beneficial for the consumer, right? And I feel like there have been situations in the past where I do know that certain corporations will kind of like team up with competing corporations just to stop the competition and to have all the corporations win and the consumers
and
lose.
sorry, you cut out
Because I'm
there.
not sure if you've ever heard about
You cut out there.
long time ago back in the day where light bulb companies all agreed to make their light bulbs not last a certain amount of time. That way they could all sell more light bulbs.
Yeah, yeah.
It's things like
That's
that where I feel like it's little. That's whenever it starts becoming a little corrupt,
that's
when
called an
they
oligopoly, and it sucks big
yeah.
dick. And
So
that's
there's
what's wrong
definitely
with the
bad parts.
airlines.
We
That's what's
need
wrong with the
to.
airlines right now.
Oh yeah, what's going on with the airlines? Tell me about it.
Like that's why all of them are really bad. It is like every time where they like increase their prices or for like baggage or whatever,
Hmm.
it's it's always because, guess what? They're all working together. There there were a few laws back in the early 1900s and the late 1800s by my man Teddy Roosevelt. Big ups, Teddy. Love you. Um,
Hmm.
the antitrust acts, right? It broke up a bunch of
Hmm.
monopolies, right? But we don't have a lot of those for oligopolies. So another big example is cable. All the cable companies are working together to fuck you in the ass with a sandpaper dildo, and they they have no incentive to uh, uh, unfuck you. They've divvied up the country, so instead of like they're all working together in the same areas, they have divided the country into their own little playgrounds, and there's no competition there. There is no competition
Yeah, like
at all
uh
in the cable
another
industry, and it sucks.
another example that I've heard of is like the hotels, right? Like
Yes.
they make it really hard for like competition to like start because they keep their prices at a point that's not going to be affordable to a competitor,
Yeah, absolutely
and
not.
and that's how they just keep all their like they just make everything super duper minimal because there's no way you can ever compete with it, right? Because
Yeah,
it's kind
absolutely
of like with
not.
Amazon too. Remember how Amazon started doing like the next day shipping and all that? If you're a shipping company, you can't compete with that, especially if you're much smaller than Amazon.
No,
You
fuck no.
can't afford to compete
And
with that,
and
right?
that's
And
why we
it's
need
things like
modern
that.
antitrust acts. We need modern antitrust laws that can break up these big fucking companies and split their resources amongst the smaller companies and break their shit up. That's what happened with the Rockefellers. Their whole their oil company got fucking obliterated, and it got turned into it got turned into a bunch of different oil companies that still exist today because they're so
Mhm.
fucking big, and they're all an oligopoly as well. There is a tendency towards oligopoly, but there's never going to be any change in that. There's never going to be any government regulation about it because they're in every single politician's pockets, Democrat or Republican. There is no way that any serious change is ever going to be done because anyone who wants to do it is not going to be receiving any money from the corporation, so they'll never get elected. So no change is possible.
Yeah, that's there's definitely lots of problems going on in capitalistic America, and I don't I don't know if there's any like real way we can see change, but it does is really unfortunate for the consumers, right? I am glad that there are
No, it
again
sucks.
some companies that are still true to the competition, kind of like with the Xbox and PlayStation thing like that. But most companies nowadays, they just look for however they can get the most money out of the consumers, which I feel like is not my favorite business model, right?
No, absolutely not. And it
Yeah.
really sucks. So,
Mm.
I think to sum up this conversation, fuck YouTube, give Ackman his channel back, uh, or people will start jumping ship. People will start
Yes.
jumping ship. You will see yourself in a competitive market, and you will lose. Um, yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like if somebody makes a much better version of YouTube, or if they make like a a, s- a version of YouTube that
Doesn't suck
is
big
is
dick.
decent enough, I feel like there's a decent chance for them to really start some competition and hopefully kind of like the Xbox and PlayStation situation, we can see some improvement from both sides, right? It's just really hard to get started as a small business nowadays just because again, what are they called?
Oligopoly.
O- Oligopolies. That's those right there. We don't like oligopolies. Down
Or
with the oligopoly
monopolies.
or
Yeah.
monopolies. We like the game though. Monopoly is a good, fun game. We should play Monopoly one day.
Yeah,
Good idea.
sure. It's on Xbox. Yeah, we could do that. Or
Or
I
we have the
really want to play
tabletop game that
Catan.
we never actually played.
I really want to play Catan with somebody. I have it, and
What is
I haven't opened it
Catan?
from the box. Oh my fucking god! You don't know what Catan is? Oh my god! All right,
Ha-
I will explain it to you.
Catan?
I'll explain it to everyone. Um, it's really good.
Is it a
So you,
board game?
it is. It is. It's really fun.
Oh, I've
It's
seen this
sort of
game
like
before.
Monopoly.
I
Yeah, Settlers of
okay.
Catan or Catan, whichever
Okay.
one it is.
All
Yeah.
right.
So you would you get these little hexagons of different land types in your game, and
Mhm.
you get two dices, and you roll them, and depending on which hex has the number that you rolled on the dice, um Yeah, depending on what you rolled on the dice, you get a certain amount of resources, and I think you need one of each, and then you can build a new city or a new road or something. I don't know. It's been a while since I played it because nobody in my fucking house wants to play Catan with me, and it sucks.
I do have
Fucking
to
love
say, it is
Catan.
hard to find like people to play board games with if you're really into board games and your family just isn't.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
now
I've had
we've
that
all
problem
got
as well.
COVID. We've all got COVID. We can't leave the fucking house. So now would be a perfect time to play Catan. Yeah,
Well, sure, 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 sure. But
yeah.
yeah, maybe one day if we meet up, we can do the board. We can do tons of board games. We can do them all.
Hell yeah. All right. Oh yeah, I wanted to convey a story of my fucking dumbassitude today.
Oh, cool, 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 cool.
If that's all right. I know you had one more thing that you wanted to talk about.
Oh no,
Um,
we can go through your topics first. We still have time.
yeah, I don't think it'll take that long. So basically, I I did a fucky wucky today. I saw
Oh man.
um I had a paper due today. Um or a rough draft for a paper due today. So it was a research proposal paper and not the actual research paper. So the research proposal paper was only supposed to be about 750 words. I thought the research paper rough draft was due today. I'm like, oh shit, I want to get a good grade on this. So I wrote, I think I had 200 words before. I wrote 2,000 words today. And then I was like, oh
Okay.
shit, the rough draft for the research paper is not what's due today. It's just the proposal. So I had to work backwards and write the proposal paper on the research paper that I already have completed. And if my professor doesn't like my proposal, I tough tits. I think I'm not rewriting it. I've got 2,200 words out of 2,500. I can't write anymore.
Well, the good news is if he does like your proposal, you're almost done.
God, I fucking hope. I fucking hope
It would be the biggest
it
slap in the
was
face though if he's just like, nope, I don't like that idea. Let's try something different.
yeah. Again, tough shit. I, I don't know how I'm gonna explain it to my professor. Like, I don't really care how you feel about it. It's already like most of the way done. So like, it,
Well, hopefully you won't have to have that conversation.
yeah, it's more than 85% done. So you ain't getting shit. You are not getting me to quit now. Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's done. It is done. Very close. And I feel like a complete fucking dumbass for it, but that's life. You know, I'm a big
That's
stupid
life.
dummy idiot. Yeah, that's what happens. And I know
Yeah.
you wanted to talk about something. You actually what I feel like this should be a weekly segment
Well,
over
we
the
can talk
summer.
about we can talk about my hobby in a second, but I do have some stories that I'd like to say before. So,
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
uh, like I'm planning on getting a new job, right? My job let out like probably what like a couple weeks now. I did have a
I
couple
think
extra
so. Yeah.
days. I don't know
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
talked about this last podcast. I might have talked about how I went to NASA and all that.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as like a chaperone. Well, it's been a little difficult to find some jobs that pay a decent amount. I'm also qualified for,
Yeah.
but I did find a job finally, and we're about 90% through the application process. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get it, but I should be getting uh, a job at a fireworks stand, right?
Yeah, you were telling me about that. It's pretty
Pretty
cool.
excited about it. Um, Hopefully everything goes well, and for those like about 2 weeks, I think it's a little less than 2 weeks. For those 2 weeks, I should be making a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
But besides that, the car situation is still it's a little iffy, right? Hopefully, when that comes through, we'll have a little bit of money once I get rid of the car as well. But we're trying our best to just kind of coast on by for the money right now. It's
Yes.
not the greatest, but it's coming in slowly. Now, I do want to talk about my hobby. My hobby, if nobody's been keeping up, I've been trying to get into woodworking, right? And it's
Yes.
been slow because I don't have a lot of money. I can't really afford to buy all the tools that I want right away, right? So what
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing is I've been buying tools like one at a time here and there, trying to slowly build up the amount of tools that I need to do some bigger things.
Yeah.
But I just got to the point in my book. I think last time I told you I did a garden stake and a doorstop, right?
Yes. Yes, you did say that.
Yeah. So now the next thing in my book was like a carving sort of exercise, carving sort of a project, right? It's more carving than it is like furniture making, which is kind of like my end goal here.
Yeah.
But it's I'm supposed to be carving a butter knife out of wood, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah. I've
that's
done that before. Yeah.
Yeah. So I tried it again. Not really a lot of experience with anything that I'm trying to do here. Just starting from scratch. I did start doing it, and I got pretty far along in the process, right? And I realized very close towards the end of doing this whole process that I started with too small of a piece of wood, right?
Yes.
So I had to scrap it and start
That is
all over
unfortunate.
again with a bigger piece of wood. But I did injure myself several times, and I think I figured out why, right? Well, because I injured myself with my knife on my finger and on my knuckle.
Ouch. Big ouch.
Uh,
Yeah. That's not
it's
fun.
not it's not a super big injury. I didn't cut off my finger or anything like that, but I did get my finger a little bit, like a tiny bit deep, and then my knuckle kind of just nicked a little bit,
Yeah.
and then I got a splinter on my palm,
Ooh,
right?
I had to a couple weeks
Which,
back I had to do some surgery on my foot. I got a splinter in my foot and I thought it would come out, so I gave it like a day or two to come out on its own, but it just got dug even worse in there, so I pulled out my Leatherman cuz I was at my aunt's house, so I didn't really
mhm,
have like tools and I didn't want like someone else to do it. So I got out my Leatherman. I used the knife blade and I carved into the bridge of my foot, and I used my tweezers and I pulled it out. So
that
I
sounds
yeah,
painful.
I did surgery on myself. It was not that bad, and it felt a lot better after I had done it than before.
Now, I
Yeah,
think I've gotten it out, but who knows? To be honest, if it
yeah.
was a splinter, it was probably a super tiny splinter. Um, but pretty much, what I've been using as a mallet is just a scrap piece of wood, and I guess the way I was holding it, it dug into my palm.
You should probably start wearing gloves, dude. If you don't have
Or
the
just get a
calluses yet.
mallet, you know, because I don't have a
Uh,
mallet, and that's kind of the
Yeah,
reason
but
why I got injured.
you're gonna have to
Also,
touch normal wood pieces though, and those are gonna give you splinters as well. Because you're
yeah,
not gonna
well,
sand until you're done. So
yes, technically you're right, and it's probably a decent investment, right? But
yeah.
I am going to be naive and not listen to you until it becomes a bigger issue.
All right,
Anyways,
all right, this gets into another topic that I wanted to talk about today. Oh my
well,
god.
I wasn't done yet. I'm still going, right?
Okay, but
So
this
I've
does lead into something.
realized when I started working on my second iteration of this wooden knife, right? This wooden butter knife, um, that my tools have become increasingly dull.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly probably because they weren't shipped to me super sharp anyways, right? And second, because I've been using them a lot, right? So
Yes.
now I've realized that I have to learn a second skill in sharpening just to do the woodworking part. So now I've
Mm-hmm.
ordered sharpening stones and oil and a strop and all the things to sharpen. So that's my next goal here, because that's partially why I injured myself as well, is because my tools were so sharp, or my so dull. I mean, that the amount of like force that I was putting on the tools was way more than I probably should have been and that's why they slipped and got
Probably.
me, right?
Yeah, I think the trick with certain things is you definitely should uh make sure you're not doing like too much down pressure, too much grip pressure, because the harder you hold, the more things will slip through your fingers. That was something I learned when I was learning how to do bow drill. Making fires was I would put a lot of down pressure, and I had a very heavy palm rock. So,
Mhm.
like, to explain, like, basically how it works for the uninitiated, is you take like a bow shaped piece of wood,
Mhm.
you take a
Mhm.
string, you attach the top end to the bottom, and then you would tie in a smaller stick called a spindle, and then
Mhm.
you put a rock on top of the spindle and put the spindle into another piece of wood. So that way, the friction from the rock is keeping it straight up in the board, and you've got a little hole in the board to like get it spinning. And then you take the bow piece and you move it back and forth, so that way the spindle spins around in the string. And I noticed that I would put in way too much down pressure and it would never work. So, and I never really got the muscle memory to not do that. Um, but I made 14 like that, or maybe it was like 12 like that, maybe 11. I think it might have been just 11 like that, and then I was done because I did not want to do it again, and I don't want to do it again. But yeah, it's all about grip strength and how much
Yeah,
down pressure you're
like
putting on.
another thing I realized, and part of why I've injured myself as well, was because I think I did things in the wrong order, right? I
That
think that
does make sense.
I should have probably done a better job of smoothing out the wood before I cut it so small that it was really hard to hold. And that was probably partially the reason why I injured myself, because it was so hard to figure out how to hold it and to cut it at the same time without injuring
Mm-hmm.
myself. And I really tried. I really did. It's not like I went out there intending to injure myself, right? Um, but yeah, but instead of trying my best and struggling on that piece of wood over and over until it became better and probably injuring
Yeah.
myself more, I just, like I said, gonna start over, do it a second time, hopefully with sharper tools, and hopefully with less injuries, and
Hopefully. But
and then hopefully by this time next week, I'll tell you all about how well it went, and hopefully I won't have all more injuries.
but I would also like to go back to the I'd like to go back to the gloves issue, because this kind of brings me to an issue that I've had in my life. Is I have a really, really, really bad um, Cassandra complex, is what it's called.
A
Um,
Cassandra complex. I've never heard that before.
so I don't want to go too long because we only have like
Is
seven
it
more
Cassandra with the
minutes.
C or Cassandra with the K?
Cassandra with a C. I guess it depends on which on how Greek you want to pronounce it. But anyhow,
I do like Cassandra with the
Cassandra.
K more, but
Shut up.
that that
Shut up.
that's my opinion. I just
Fuck your opinion. Fuck your opinion. Let me explain it. So, anywho, Cassandra
okay.
is a figure in the Trojan War, so from the Iliad and the Odyssey, and other various pieces of media about it. But basically, she was the daughter of King Priam of Troy. So, like the
Mhm.
guy who's her brothers were Hector and Paris. So the people who started it. But yeah, so she was really, really, really hot, and Apollo was like, "Damn, baby, I want to get with you." So he gives her the gift of prophecy, so like clairvoyance, so she can see the future. But
Mhm.
she was like, "Nah, I'm gonna be celibate. Sorry, bud." And then he did not like being bud zoned, so he gave her the curse that no matter who she told, she couldn't alter or change the events in any way, and nobody would believe her. So
Ah,
uh,
okay.
the biggest example was the Trojan horse. They wheeled in the Trojan horse, and Troy was like, "Yeah, we won, and they gave us this big trophy. Ha, suck it, Greeks." But Cassandra was like, "There's fucking Greeks in there. Don't bring it in the city." And everyone was like, "Shut the fuck up, Cassandra." And nobody listened to her. And then they wheeled in the Greeks, or they
You
wheeled
know,
in the horse, and the Greeks
I've
murdered
never heard
everybody.
about this part of the story, but I love it so much more now, you know?
Yeah, they're like, "Shut the fuck up, Cassandra, you fucking Debbie Downer ass bitch," and then
You know,
everyone died.
see, I wouldn't mind just hearing you retell stories like this. This is wonderful, you know. You're just such vivid, you know, the way you explain it.
I, you know, I have a way with words when it
You
comes to
you
Greek
do have
myths.
a you have such a way with words. I can't. Maybe
But
this should become a
basically,
segment. You just telling me stories.
oh Jesus Christ, I have a few. But anywho, so so why I feel like Cassandra is, uh, I told you, get the gloves. You didn't listen, and by the time you're working next week, if you get another splinter, I will have been right, and you will look like a dumbass. But
See,
you
here's what
still
I'm
won't
thinking,
listen to
right?
me.
I'm thinking that the reason I don't like gloves is because I just don't like how they feel personally. And also, it's really I like having my fingers out. Maybe I can get those fingerless gloves because I did get a splinter in my palm, and it would be a lot harder to
You'll
get in
get
my palm.
splinters in your fingers as well. But also,
You know
I
what?
don't like the way
Maybe.
condoms feel. But you, I don't wear them because they feel good. I wear them because I don't like the consequences. And trust me, the
Well,
consequences are going to be a lot worse than the feeling of wearing a glove. Trust me.
you know, yeah, but at the same time, I'm a little stubborn, you know? And I feel
You
like
are.
I'm not ready to admit that I need gloves quite
But
yet.
it's not
If I get
just
a couple
you.
more splinters, then
That's the
maybe,
thing, right?
maybe.
That's the thing, right? It's never just you, though. It's like everyone I try to give advice to, they're like, "Ah, oh, fuck you. No, I'm not gonna listen." So, and then they get fucked over, and it's like, "Wow, look at you. You fucking you got your you got your wish. You followed your own
I feel
advice."
like there's definitely another like word for it where just people just do the opposite of what you tell them.
I
I don't
prefer
know
the
what
term Cassandra complex because
that's
it makes me
yeah,
feel like
that
a
is
fucking clairvoyant genius, which I am, as we all
yeah,
know.
but you're making it about yourself, right? But I'm saying like there's definitely
It
a
should be
term that you could
about me.
use
I'm great.
for
I'm awesome.
I am pretty sure it's a thing though, where if you tell somebody to do something or not to do something, they usually just try to do it just to spite you. And that's kind of how
Yeah,
I feel, Nick. You know, I do like spiting you a lot, you know, and
you
maybe
do.
this is my way of
And
doing it, you know.
it never turns out good for you, but you keep doing it, and it's hilarious.
It's you
Except
know,
it's
actually I
also
do feel a lot
extremely
of personal
frustrating.
victories. I do feel a lot of personal victories. I know you say it doesn't work for me, but you know, I feel like it's worth it sometimes, you know?
Yeah, sure, whatever the fuck. All right, you
Sometimes,
want to
every
do a
now
big
and
red
then.
button? You want to do a big red button? You want to
Yes.
end the
What's the
yeah.
question for the week? Tell me.
I've got a couple here. I've got.
Give me your best one.
I don't know about any of these being the best one. All right. Um. Okay. You can tell any lie you want, and people will believe you without fail. But
All right.
every time you use this power, you will gain a painful, permanent wound on your body, and it will
Okay.
continue to be painful for the rest of your life.
Oh, okay, cuz the okay, so how I imagined it at first, before you said the second part, was kind of like Killmonger in Black Panther, you know?
Oh yeah, like he or like Victor Zsasz from DC. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah, kind
sense.
of like, you know, it's like a permanent mark that they put on you, but the painful part I don't like. If it was like, you know, it's painful initially and then like it's just kind of like a scar on you,
Yeah.
that I wouldn't mind as much. Um, but the painful part, how painful exactly
How
are we talking
painful would
here?
it have to be for you to not want this? How like what's your 10? All right, so let's figure out what your 10 is.
Well, I'm assuming 10 or the max should be like if you lose a limb.
No, no, what is your 10? Like, if you have, like, what is the most painful experience you've ever had?
Oh, um, I don't know, actually. I don't get in painful situations that often.
Yeah, you're
I've
kind of a
never
little
broken a
bitch.
bone.
You're kind of a little bitch
All
sometimes.
my bones are intact, luckily for me.
I have
Um,
broken two bones at the same time.
at the
Um,
same time, that's impressive.
well, they're in the.
The
I
same
broke
arm.
two bones in two places. Yeah, I broke my forearm
Yeah.
in
Okay.
two places at the same time. So
Oh, okay, so the same
two
bone
bones
twice.
twice. No, 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 two bones twice. So
So that's
four
four
overall
breaks.
breaks.
Four
Yes,
breaks. Okay, I gotcha.
four
I gotcha.
overall breaks. Yeah. Um. Uh.
Uh, I
Yeah.
don't
Radius
know
and ulna.
actually.
Yeah. That's my 10 or recovering from my hernia surgery was really bad.
I don't think I
So, one of
have a
those two.
10. I don't think I've ever had a 10.
Well, you have to everyone has a 10. It's just their 10s are comparatively weaker. So, my 10 is probably breaking my arm that
I,
moment.
I, I think that probably the most painful experience I've had is when I got hit in the crotch. Uh, now I think I was in a fight with my brother or something like that. I can't remember.
And he hit you in the nads.
Yeah, low blow, really,
Literally, yeah.
literally. But
All right.
I even then I feel like I don't remember the pain, so it doesn't feel like it should be a 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember the pain from my surgery. I remember the pain from my wisdom tooth surgery. I don't remember the pain from when I broke my arm. I don't. I think it was so bad that my brain just doesn't want to commit it to memory, but it was really fucking bad. It
Can
was
is
really
I'd
fucking
love to
bad.
hear the story. I don't know if we have time, but
It's a quick story. So, there was kind of I went to this little daycare at the mall, and there was a long little stretch of like trampoline, and then there was like a soft cushion edge at the end.
hmm
Now, contrary to what you might think, I didn't break my arm on the trampoline part. I had landed in the cotton soft part, and there was like a small little edge outcropping of like siding for the trampoline, of course, just to
hmm
like keep it upright. And it had been covered with this little bit of cushion, and the cushion kind of jutted out a little bit. And as I was getting off the cotton part, my my foot caught on that, and as I was going forward, it kind of used my body like a lever, so it gained a bunch of leverage, and it came down really hard on my arm, and my arm snapped upward and then forward. So, like look at your left arm and then imagine it going to the left and then back forward, so like a lightning bolt. That's what happened to my arm, and it fucking hurt really
okay.
bad.
I definitely think that's crazy. Did you like pass out or do you just what happened?
I don't think so. I think I got in so much shock that I don't
The adrenaline?
quite remember what happened. I remember screaming in pain really, really bad, and I remember
How old were you?
flashes. I was 9.
Oh,
It
okay.
was
So, long time ago.
yes. Jesus Christ, it's been more than 10 years, dude. What the fuck? I'm so old.
Oh
But
man,
anywho,
you're turning 20 soon, aren't you?
yes. Um,
Oh
but yeah,
man.
yeah,
Oh man, oh
at the
man.
end of the summer. But yeah, what do you think would be the pain level to for you to like they would be in permanent pain um for the rest of your life, but uh people would believe any lie you told
See,
and
there
every single
is
one.
like I'm not sure if you've ever, if you know what I'm talking about when I say this, but you know how like whenever you get like a small scratch or like a small cut, and it's like a constant sort of like very very low level of pain, right?
That's what you'd
Like
be okay with?
that's kind of something that I feel like that would be like best case scenario, right?
Yeah,
Now, I don't know if I'd be willing to do much more than that just because I don't like pain.
yeah,
um, but I'm trying to think of like how often I would use this, right?
yeah. So if
Because
it
I
was
feel
like a
like
3
I feel
to a
like I do small
5,
lies all the time, right? Like tiny,
yeah.
tiny lies. Now, here's a better way to like that I would probably do the question, right?
All
Now,
right, sure.
I
Let's
feel
hear it.
like the mark, right? Maybe the mark is the same or the mark is different, but I think that the pain should be equivalent to the level of the lie. You kind of see what I'm saying, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. All right, that does make
Right.
sense.
Like let's
Yeah,
say it's like a really big lie, right? Then probably a bigger amount of pain, maybe a bigger mark, maybe, something like that, right?
yeah, that
Now,
does make
that
sense.
situation I wouldn't mind as much, right? Because then I could, not have to worry about every tiny little lie I do causing huge amounts of pain, right? But then I could still get
Yeah,
the benefit of like a bigger lie later on if I really wanted to.
but it would be really, really rough. If there was like a huge
Exactly.
one, it would be like getting
Exactly,
hit in the
right?
nuts all the time.
Yes, but I feel like in that scenario, I probably would push the button. But if it's a sort of the thing where it's like a constant kind of level of pain for all the lies, and the pain level is like in that middle to high tier, probably not. No, no, no.
All right.
So that's my condition for pushing the button for me at least. I think that it needs to be based on the level of the lie, you know?
Yeah. All right.
Hmm.
I think that makes sense. I think that's a good way to end the episode then, I think.
Yeah. I love whenever I say I'm gonna push the button, but it's always a conditional push the button. It's never
I
it's
think
never 100% confident, right?
that's how it is for me too, you know? Like
There's
yeah,
always
I
that
think
one
there's
condition.
yeah, I think if it was conditional, I would do that because it would yeah. I think
Yeah,
again you just got to think about if it's worth it or not. But yeah.
exactly, right? You could do whatever you want. You could do your little plan of becoming invincible for 5 years, push the button, have every lie you want.
Jesus
Synergy right there,
Christ.
right?
Oh
That's how you do
Christ,
it.
we're referencing the previous ones now. I think we've officially gone up our own ass. Oh Lord.
It's
I
it's
think
it's
that's
too
a good
deep.
place to end it. Yeah,
It's too deep.
we're in too deep, fellas. All right, I think that's a good place to end it. So uh, I'm incredibly influential.
And I'm highly successful.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll be with you guys next week. Bye.